Committee of Adjustments at 6:31 on January 23rd, 2025. Before we start, I'll have Tamaj read the land acknowledgement.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the town of Innisfil acknowledges that Innisfil is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history. The town also acknowledges that this land is the traditional territories of the First Peoples of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe peoples of Beausoleil First Nation, Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for generations of stewardship. This meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The town acknowledges the forced sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit.
Just give me 1 second here. My computer is really slow. Okay, welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. It's a hybrid meeting where we are meeting in person at the Town Hall and offering members of the public or applicants who are unable to attend in person to utilize Zoom or telephone to come before the committee. Members of the committee in attendance tonight is to my immediate left is Sarah Odinger, also the Vice Chairperson. To my right is Marnie Adams, and to my far right is John Ramonde. And via Zoom is our other member, Bill Van Berkel, and I'm Rod Hicks as the chairperson tonight. We ask that everyone attending tonight's meeting put their electronic devices on silent, which I'm not sure I did. Yep. The committee will follow the agenda as noted. To view the agenda, please visit the town's website and access the Committee of Adjustment page. Here you'll be able to see current and previous applications. All applicants and members of the public who wish to address the committee via phone or Zoom will be placed on mute until called upon. You'll be able to hear all conversations taking place. For applicants and members of the public attending in person or via Zoom or phone or Zoom and wish to speak to a specific application will be called to the podium by the chair in order for by the chair in order of the agenda and proceedings. All comments will be addressed to the chairperson. We would ask that members of the public who wish to speak to a specific application restrict their comments to the specific details of the application being heard and have not been previously expressed by another member of the public. Once the public discussion is complete, the committee will close that portion to open discussions with the applicant. Once complete, the committee will render a decision. Motion, could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Marnie, second. John, all in favor? It's moved, thank you. A motion to approve past minutes. Sarah, seconder. Marnie? It's moved. Thank you. Mr. Secretary, how is notice provided for the applications before us?
Through you, Mr. Chair, in compliance with Ontario regulations, the notice of hearing was circulated to property owners within a 60-meter radius of the subject properties, and signs were posted on the subject properties on or before January 9th, 2025. In addition, all application information, including the notice, key map, and application drawings were made available on the town website.
Thank you. Just before we go any further, Dave, is there a problem with the Wi-Fi tonight? John, you can't get in either? No, I can't get in on my iPad from the town. So, excuse me just 1 minute, folks. I'm just going to give this to our IT. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, first application on the agenda tonight is there's three variances on this property, A050 2024, A051, and A052 2024, known as 1123. Do we have the agent Jerry Lammers with us? Lammers? And Ryan Johnson? I don't have it. Do I? Okay. Do we have them with us tonight? Are they on Zoom? Okay, if you can let them in.
Ryan, are you there? Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Great. Okay. Mr. Secretary, could you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a dwelling with a deficient rear yard setback, a deficient front yard setback, and a deficient approximate lot coverage of 45%. The applicant is seeking relief from Table 4.2A of the zoning bylaw. Planning recommends deferral. Building and engineering have comments. The LSRC, the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority have comments and conditions. In-services have no comments, and public comments were received.
Thank you. For the agents with us tonight, are you in receipt of the comments from the town?
We are.
Great. Do you have any comments or anything to add to it?
I've got many comments.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, we went through this a few meetings ago, requesting a deferral. We've met the requirements of the parking on the property in mention, so we provided those drawings. Since then, we've got notice as of 4:45 this afternoon that more comments have come in. So it's a little bit disappointing to find that a decision can't be made on a minor variance, and that the town is requesting our clients spend money in order to do reports prior to a minor variance application. It just seems like this process is going backwards.
Dave?
And it doesn't make a lot of sense for me why we would expect our homeowners to spend money on these reports prior to a minor variance. We understand the conditions set forth by the city, and we have no problems in meeting those conditions. We just don't feel like going forward and spending that money prior to a minor variance approval makes any sense. I do have some sketched up drawings of my site plan that can show you how easily we can fit 2 parking spots on the site. I've got a client's deed from 1921 that says, together with a right of way for all purposes in common with others entitled thereto, over, through, along, and upon lot number 38. What this basically says, our client has full access to do whatever she wants in regards to the accessing her property that now has to cross over that lot number 38, which is, might I say, meant to be a road. It is not meant to be a property which has trees growing on it. So based on some comments from the public regarding our front and rear setbacks, the whole lot's only 47 feet long. Between the front and rear setbacks from the city of or the town of Innisfil, that would require 14 meters of setback, 45 feet, which makes it basically physically impossible to build anything to meet any of the setbacks that are there today. What we're looking for is really only a half a meter on the front and 2.8 meters on the back. And this is just to allow our client to accommodate a small little deck so that they can have a barbecue and access their backyard from there. We don't really understand what is so irresponsible about our requests and how we're going to negatively affect any drainage, because we are going to have a proper lot grading plan and follow those plans. I've been building for 12 years now, and every project we work on has great drainage. We follow the lot grading plans to a T, and we know exactly what we're doing. I've taken the opportunity to take some pictures of 1121 Stony Creek Point. I don't know if I can share my screen, but I can show you that the rear deck has got to be no more than 2 meters from the rear property line. So I don't really understand how 1121's been allowed to do these things, but yet we're being forced to, we're not being agreed to do all this. What we're looking for is less than what's currently there. The home that is currently there is far larger than the house we are looking to construct. Okay. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense. The other thing that's kind of a little bit disappointing is that this town of Innisfil has had our lot grading plan since September 19th, when we applied for our building permit originally. And also disappointing to note that on May 30th, I reached out to city officials to request feedback on this property, and to which that request was denied. I was looking for a simple pre-consultation, and they suggested just apply for a permit and see what feedback you get. And so we applied on September 19th. So we've already gone forward and spent the money on all these reports that now Innisfil is now telling us as of 4:45 today that we have to go and get in order to get past our minor variance application. To me, this whole system seems backwards. We're happy to meet all of the conditions as set forward by the committee, and we will meet all those conditions set forward by the committee, but we need a minor variance approval in order to go and justify spending further funds. That's those are all my comments. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ryan. We are also in receipt of this, as basically as I got here tonight, found out that comments that come in late, and they don't usually come in that late. And I understand your concern about it. And if it is deferred, it's no cost to you because it's the town asking for it. Okay.
Well, it is cost, Mr. Speaker, because it's money, right? Like I make a living building houses, and if we get pushed back 30 days, so those are employees that I now have to keep employed for 30 days longer than we would have ultimately had to. Okay, like it, as you know, time is money, and in our industry, we need to build homes, and especially in this current economy and this current situation, if we don't build homes, we don't make a living.
I understand that.
It doesn't cost me money, but it is costing me. It's cost me a significant amount of money because this home should have been in the ground in September.
I understand. We have 2 builders on our committee, so we seem to be fluent with the costing. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, we have members of the public that want to speak to this application.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do. Sherry, if you can unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening. Do we have a visual or not?
I'm not sure. Yep, could do.
I see your
Sure you
name.
want to see.
There you go.
How are you?
Nice to see who we're speaking to. Do you have some comments other than what's been expressed in the past?
Yes. Did you see the letter that I sent this afternoon?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and I'm really very sorry for the last minute. Jeff had sent in a letter, and I expected that he would be there tonight, but it is his birthday, and he had previous plans. So I'm really very sorry for the last minute. Okay, so you see that, I have no issues with going with a 0 lot line at the front. Obviously, it's a crazy looking lot.
Sorry,
And,
Sherry. Just to confirm your address, you're 1123 Stony Point, is that correct?
No, 1103.
Oh, sorry,
Stony
that's the
Point
file.
Road.
What's your address? Sorry, I didn't ask you at the beginning.
1103 Stony Point Road.
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
All right, so, yeah, just want to confirm that, we're happy to see a new build go in the place of an old. And I also saw the last minute town comments. Was happy to see that they agreed about the 2 parking spaces. Again, no issue with the front yard, but I have further comments about the backyard. Not only did all of these people, have issues with the grading on Stony Point Road because it is very bad, and hence the reason that we've requested, that the town have a look at the proper grading. But as far as the rear yard setback, we went through OMB and the standard was set. So I'm not sure I actually agree with planning that with the rear yard setback. All of the houses, there's 4 new houses on the street. They were all at 6 meters. Jeff's had a look at it, and you can certainly do a nice little house on that property and maintain the 6 meter rear yard setback. And not only is it for grading purposes, but it's also for a social aspect. If you're going to go 0 lot line on the front, you're now on lot 38, which is the right of way. You really should be providing proper space in the back for, decks or parties or barbecues or socials. And there's absolutely no reason why this property can't be built with the proper 6 meter setback at the back. And again, they are going to struggle with grading plans. I built I did all of this. We went to OMB, we provided a proper survey, a complete grading survey of the entire street. We know what issues are coming down the pipe with the grading on this house. But all I'm saying is that I'm happy to see the 2 parking spaces off of the right of way, because you are not allowed to park on a right of way. you should be providing. And when we went to Committee of Adjustments, we were expected to provide 2 parking spaces per house. And it can be done here as Ryan has done. And 0 lot line because of the crazy lot. But rear yard, I don't think that's in keeping with the rest of the street, and maybe old standards with what was built, but there's no reason not to maintain the 6-meter setback at the rear yard. And so, yeah, I think that if you were to look at the OMB decision from many years ago when the other lots were approved, you're gonna find that's exactly what they insisted on.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments.
Okay.
Ryan, do you have anything to add? Can we bring Ryan back up on the screen?
You there?
Yep, there you go. Any other comments you want to make?
Well, yeah, I don't understand how that math makes any sense. 6 meters is 20 feet and the property is only 27. The current home that's there right now is 35 by 35. So what we're requesting is, I believe, 30 by 32. So it's really minor in what we feel in requests to that. Am I allowed to share my screen? Because I do have a picture of 1121 that shows the whole backyard is basically covered by deck, garage, and there's absolutely no grading whatsoever. And I also have them all parking on that right away as well. So I really don't, there kind of seems to be a double standard on the street because they own that lot 38, which is actually just a right of way, which is a road. So
Sure, if you've got the picture and we can see it, that'd be great.
sure.
So Ryan, I think you'd be able to share it now. Give it a shot.
Can you guys see my screen here? Up to.
We can see it now.
Okay, so here's the back property line now, how well you can see it. But you've got this whole deck, you've got this huge garage back here, and this is the rear yard right here,
Right,
which is all interlocked.
right.
Okay, and then I've got pictures of the front yard, which is all being parked on by their vehicles, which is, again, to me, double standards, seems to me.
Okay, thank you.
1 second here, let me find it here. There we go. Oops.
Was almost there.
There's their front yard. And there's their 2 parking spaces on the right of way.
Okay. Alrighty. Any questions, committee members? Tamaj?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to add one comment. One of the reasons we're recommending deferral is if the applicant has to change, so if the building department asks the applicant to change the location of the house, the variances they're applying for right now will no longer be valid, so they'd have to come back to the Committee of Adjustment. So by deferring it, we can deal with the grading plan first, make sure the setbacks are exactly what they're applying for, and that way they don't have to come back if building has to change something in the grading plan. So
Or
it's
failing that, we can approve if all conditions are met to the town's satisfactions.
correct, yeah.
And then they don't have to come back to us.
As long as the setbacks don't change. Because we're approving a specific setback right now.
Okay,
So it's a risk to the applicant right now. They can, if you guys approve it, and if they're okay approving it, we'll condition it that they provide a lot grading plan to the satisfaction of the building department. But my concern is if building asks them to move the house for whatever reason, then they would have to come back to us. So that's the issue with approving it.
because this file's gone on for quite a while.
And yeah, so
Nice
it's and I just want the applicant to be aware of that point.
John?
Just a comment about that, though. If the building department asks to move the house, they're not going to be able to ask to move it any closer to the road. Correct. So the only thing that they're going to be able to ask is to move the back wall to 6 meters or further because of a lot grading plan.
Right.
But if if they don't produce a lot grading plan that works with the setback that they are requesting right now, what happens? They have to come back for another minor variance?
They would have to come back for another minor variance
Right.
because we're approving the specific setback shown on the plan right now.
So question to the applicant, are they prepared to take that risk if building department is not satisfied with their lot grading plan? You guys are going to have to come back and reapply. And is that worth it to you, or would you rather a deferral? And I think that's a fair question to the applicant.
Ryan?
I think that any lot grading plan that we provide is going to be engineered. So once it's engineered and has that seal of approval from an engineer, I'm not sure what Innisfil would have any issues with. If the engineer says it can be done and works, then why would the Innisfil have any problems with it? Would be my question.
John, you have any comment?
No, it's a fair point. I mean, the building department would have the right to challenge the engineering
On the engineering design guidelines.
on the
Microphone.
engineering design guidelines. That's right.
Okay, so,
I mean, that's the whole point. That's why Innisfil requires an engineer to stamp it, because that basically, that's the seal of approval that this, in fact, is a legitimate
Another
project
question.
and will work.
Another question for you, Ryan. Do you guys have a design already done? Like, are the plans completed or not?
Yes.
They are
We've
completed.
made some minor changes to the plans. That's because we did apply for our permit in September as per the information we were given from the town in May and June. So we do have full set of drawings, full set of engineered lot grading plans, full engineered trusses, everything. So we are going to go back to the drawing board and make some minor revisions to that. But again, we can't continue to spend money until we have some sort of a variance approval in place so that we can continue to push this forward.
Curiosity, why didn't you submit those plans with the application? Because that would have provided a lot of weight to the application because, yeah, it's costly to redesign a house and have that completely redone. And I imagine taking 2 meters off that house would make a huge difference to the entire flow and the floor plan. And it would have been nice to see that.
Yeah, no, we don't want to make the house smaller.
Yeah, you don't want to make the house smaller. I get
What
that.
we've already designed. Yeah, what's on the floor plan, the footprint that you see is what we'll come up with. That's how it's been finalized. So we're working with that footprint because we're already making compromises and making the house significantly smaller than what's currently sitting there now. So if no minor variance gets approval, then we can just simply go and redesign or complete a renovation and use the exact same footprint, and no lot grading plans, anything else will be required as per the building permit application process, because we're not going to be adding any footprints, any square footage. So therefore, no lot grading plan is required on a basic renovation. So that is another option that we have to explore as well at this point. So if we can't kind of get to an agreement that we can build a new home here, then we'll just make the old home new again. And I've got the technology to do that.
If you guys want to approve it, the risk is on them.
yeah, so here's where we're sitting, Ryan. We could
Yep.
technically approve this with conditions that everything's done to the satisfaction of the town. That means that, if you do that, then you don't have to come back and see us. Or we can just plainly defer it and let you guys battle it out with the town, and you may have to come back to us with different variances. So if you have to come back, I think if I'm right, Mr. Secretary, that will be a cost to them.
If it's
They
new
have-
variances.
If they have to come back with
They
new
would,
variances.
yeah, and just a point, we did include conditions in case we do approve it. So those conditions are listed in the report as well.
But, I'm caught, because I'd like to see files move along. But if we approve with conditions and then the town comes and says, well, we're concerned, blah, 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 then he's going to be back, he's going to pay more money, the owner's going to pay more money, and they'll be before us again.
And that's the risk on the owner's part.
John?
Yeah, you're right, Rod, but I think that at that point, there would be a much more significant cost associated to that, because there's going to be a redesign of a house, there's going to be a redesign of the entire project. So the cost of the minor variance, would probably just be a decimal point, you know, like a,
Okay.
like a,
Okay, committee, well, I'll tell you what. Barney, go ahead, sorry.
Through the chair, I have a
Your mic.
question. I'm not sure if I forget his name, the fellow that was representing the owners here. Did you say that you had considered just rebuilding on the same footprint as the existing home and the property?
Yeah, everything's a consideration, but I think that it'll be better for the neighborhood if we completely demolish it and rebuild a new one. We do lakefront projects all the time where it's impossible to get what the clients have, so we just have to work through the process of underpinning the foundation and supporting it and restructuring it and essentially building a brand new house on the exact same footprint, so it's considered a renovation at that point. So that's also an option for us. And, we've certainly done it many times on Lake Simcoe in this community, in the township of Innisfil too, mind you. So it's definitely something that we can do. The home is, the size of it is fine, but what we're looking for is just a brand new footprint with a brand new home. And that would be ultimately probably the better option for everybody. But if we had to just redesign it as a renovation, that's something we can do as well.
Jabaj, you wanted to say something?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we also have Brandon on the call. I'm just wondering if Brandon has anything to add.
Oh, Brendan?
Through the chair, just listening to the conversation, and I also was able to review building's comments. I do think staff have provided conditions. And so what I'm hearing from the agent is that they would be willing to accept those risks and those conditions. And so staff would be supportive if committee did want to make a decision tonight respecting the variances.
With the condition that the applicant
With the conditions.
meets all conditions, and then they don't have to come back to us.
Right.
Bill, sorry, Bill, I wasn't looking at the screen to acknowledge you. Did you want to comment, Bill?
Well, I just wonder, if a 30-day deferral isn't better to get things worked out, then, going back to the building department might take 60, 90 days before you get what you want. I agree with what John was saying, and I totally understand what Ryan is saying, because, I've been in the business and you want to build. I understand that. But having listened to this whole scenario tonight here, I just wonder if this is approved, that it may, going through the building department, that they're going to make demands on you, and it's going to take a lot longer to get what you want than if we deferred for 30 days, and you work with the different departments to get this straightened out.
So if I can speak again, because I do appreciate everything you just said there, and actually I appreciate everything building just said there. I would be willing and open to that option of a 30-day deferral, provided we get some more communication from the Township of Innisfil, because from my initial conversations back in May, requesting information and help on this file, like I build a lot of homes, so I know the ins and outs of building. And if this one stumped me, because we've never dealt with a property of this size. So if Innisfil will commit to, over the next 15 days, working closely with us and our design team to help design something that everyone's going to be satisfied with, and not completely redesigning our home, mind you, because that's a cost that we don't feel like we need to incur. But just, okay, here's what we're thinking. Option 1, option 2, here's what we can do. We can configure this. Here's what we need to do if we go with this option. Here's what we need to do if we go with that option. And if we can get a little bit more feedback and communication, then I'm totally open to the 30 days, because it has not been a pleasant experience working with the town of Innisfil on this particular project since May of 2024. So if we can get some commitments, I'm totally open to a 30-day deferral, provided that the Innisfil will commit to, over the next 15 days, give us clear and concise communication versus an email at 4:45 the day of a Committee of Adjustments meeting.
Yes, and that's exceptional that
I'm sorry.
it's unusual that we get such a late email like that prior to the meeting. Usually it's the week before.
To me, it seems like Innisfil is being bullied a little bit.
Well, let me just bring the manager of planning back on, Brendan, if we can. I just want to ask him a question. Brandon, you've heard what Ryan's asking for. Is there a point person that he can deal with so we can, I don't like when files go on like this for so long, and I don't like when we have to keep deferring. Is there someone that can step up and help deal with these things and come to some resolve? Because I don't know internally what the process is.
Yeah, through the chair, should there be a deferral tonight? It's the building department that reviews that plan, and I can connect Ryan with our chief building official to resolve the matter one way or another.
That would be great. Thank you. John?
Yeah, I'll just make one more comment. We should just consider what the deferral is going to buy us. Because really, if we defer it, it probably just means that the building department's going to ask him to get an engineering lot grading plan prior to it coming back here. Which means that'll just prove that it's okay to build where it is. If the engineered lot grading plan does not come back supportive of what they want to do, then they're going to make him move it anyways, and he's willing to take the risk.
Okay.
And then the third comment is if the building department says, get an engineered lot grading plan now prior to it going back to committee, there's a chance you might not get that done in 30 days.
Ryan, do you think you can get that engineering? Oh, sorry, Brandon, you wanted to say something?
Just to add one point to the discussion, and I think Ryan mentioned this earlier, but given the irregularities of the lot and the size of the home being smaller, it could technically benefit from sort of legal non-complying status, in which case they might not actually need that grading permit. So I think in terms of the best interest of the town and of the street, if it is approved, then the conditions, ultimately assure both the residents, the neighbors, and the town that the grading will be appropriate. So staff's opinion would be that, if committee agrees with the recommendations, that it's appropriate to make a decision tonight.
Thank you.
Well, because we are considering putting the parking on the other side of the property and leaving the well where it is. So that's we're kind of weighing both options. Both of them require very similar setbacks, but it's like within a few decimal points of the differences. So I would like to work with somebody in town, and we already have a lot grading plan on file. So we've already applied. Is it going to be exactly what we're requesting now? No, but it's going to be close to the city to review it to see if they have it. It's good enough for the city to give us some comments on. So we do not have to incur any more costs because we've already got the lot grading plan done and it does work. So
Okay.
it's just we would just have to move the house over to one side and incorporate some parking. So again, it doesn't make a huge difference or impact. So if working with building for the next 30 days to help us work out what exact minor variances we're going to need, then I'm open to that. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So committee members, we can just, sorry, if we can,
Yep.
we can defer this whole application, or we can go ahead, as you've heard from the manager of planning as well, is that we can approve it with the conditions and that a lot grading plan is submitted satisfactory to the town. And if that all goes well, we won't see them back again. And I think that's more in favor of what I'd like to see. So committee members, if someone would like to make a motion to that. And just so you know, Ryan, you're in good company here because we have two builders and one's also an engineer on this, so they understand the struggles you're going through.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, does anybody like to make a motion for this application? John?
I guess that's me. I'd like to make a motion to approve the application with all the conditions that are set forth by the planning department, namely that the lot grading engineering is to the satisfaction of the building department and the town and anybody else who has any opinion on it, and that it is satisfactory and compliant with town standards. And I think that should do it.
Okay. If I can just add to that, is that it's with all conditions that we previously approved. All conditions that were attached to this application plus a lot grading plan is submitted to satisfaction of the town. Okay, do I have a seconder on the motion? Sarah, all in favor? There you go, Ryan. So we've
Thank you very
deferred
much.
you with all conditions. Hopefully you don't have to see us again.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Hey, and the last application is A059-2024, known as 862 Blackwood Avenue. Do we have Bruce Robson with us? Toomaj, is he on screen with us? or-
Through you, Mr. Chair, he's on screen. Bruce, please unmute yourself.
I think he stepped away from the screen last I saw.
Unmute. Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you read the application? Any comments?
Yeah, you?
Yep, you're good. Just hang on. We're just going to read your application.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a dwelling with an attached garage having an approximate width of 8.4 meters. The applicant is seeking relief from section 3.18.3D of the zoning bylaw, which states that the maximum width of a garage shall not be greater than 50% of the width of the main wall of the principal building. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments. In-services and engineering have no comments.
Great. Bruce, are you in receipt of the comments from the town?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can we bring Bruce up on the screen?
Should I?
All right, sorry.
There we go.
There we go. There you go. Now I can see you.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do you have anything to add to the comments that the town's made?
No, just that I built a couple of houses in town of Innisfil before, and I know that outside the parameters and the zoning that I am in the wrong, and that's why I'm here tonight to ask for
Forgiveness.
just an adjustment.
Is it more of an ask for forgiveness because you already started?
Ask for forgiveness. Absolutely. Everybody knows that I am in compliance of a stop work order. Basically, I'm gonna be truthful and honestly, my hand's gonna get slapped. I actually know that. And I'm just trying to make the community better. And if you can approve my minor adjustment, we'll pay the fine or whatever we have to do, and we'll go forward from there.
Okay. And Mr. Secretary, I don't believe we have anybody speaking for or against this application tonight.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Okay.
No.
Committee members, do you have any questions of the applicant? So Bruce, I just got a question for you. I mean, we get builders coming through
Absolutely.
and asking for forgiveness. So is it see if we can slip this through or, yeah, okay.
No?
No,
Go ahead.
I often wonder when builders come before us asking for forgiveness, and you're a builder, you know what the standards and the setbacks are and requirements, and how did we end up here tonight is the question.
So what happened was I submitted my drawings and application to the town, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. The weather was fantastic. I'm actually building on another location, the same house, and the response was a little bit longer than expected. So we had some variance in timelines. We started the foundation, and all of a sudden, the town came back. It was all in motion before I actually dug the foundation. And when they came back, I didn't know that the zoning of this 3-car garage compared to the house was that minor variance. It was my mistake.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm willing to pay the fine on the permit. I'm willing to move forward. I'm a small builder. I build one house maybe every 2 years. I'm just trying to make things better in the town of Innisfil.
I understand. Well, we don't, at this time, assign
I've
fines.
actually-
We don't assign fines, although I did mention at a meeting last night to the town that we should have the power to levy fines for people like this.
100%.
You're not the
I
only
actually-
one. This happens.
Yeah, I called your building chief inspector, and it was deferred down to the assistant building inspector. I met him on site. He looked at my site. I was worried about some of the things I did. I've actually taken pictures, and we've actually talked about what I have to do to get my building permit after this minor variance is hopefully approved. And I'm willing to do all the little things that I'm supposed to do. I'm actually a plumber by trade. So some of the things that have actually been done is over and above the inspection and the the permits, comments of the town of Innisfil. I have lots of pictures, and I'm willing to
We don't
core
need
the hole
them.
in the foundation
Yep.
and do all the things that are expected to get my building permit so I can pay my DC charges and move forward with my permit.
Fair enough. Any other questions, committee members? Nope.
Mistakes happen.
Yeah, well, yes, we have two builders here, Bruce, so they understand. Okay, could I have a motion for or against the application? Marnie?
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion in regards to application.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, sorry. Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion regarding application A059-2024, which is 862 Blackwoods Avenue, as applied for, subject to conditions.
Motion to approve with conditions. Do I have a seconder? John, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yep. We're all good. Thank you, Bill, for speaking up. Keep forgetting to look at you on the screen.
I
So,
know.
right-
You're ignoring me.
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks,
Bruce,
Bill.
Bruce, you're approved with conditions.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a
Have a
good
great
night.
night.
Thank you.
You too.
Mr.
Take care.
Secretary, I don't believe we have any other business for tonight.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Great, a motion to adjourn at 7:12.
I
John?
make a motion.
Oh, Bill, yeah, okay, Bill. John will second it. All in favor?